everyone, welcome to Gracefully Unraveled. I'm Grace, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make another pattern that was written by Holley-Shae. This is the My Lovely Mermaid. My 5-year-old named her Sabrine, so that's what I'll be calling her throughout this video. I'd really like to know who loves mermaids in your life. Let me know in the comments section. Today I'm going to show you everything you need to do to make her, from her tail fins to her hair. Now, Sabrine says once you've subscribed to Gracefully Unraveled, checked out the link in the description for the pattern details and materials, and like this video, you're ready to get started. So without further ado, let's get into making our mermaid. So we're going to start by making Sabrine's cute little arms. First, we need to make a magic circle. You can do this however way you like. Or if you'd like, I can link a video in the description box for you to go watch. If I do it too quickly, I apologize. Alright, so once you have your magic circle put together, you can put 6 single crochet into that ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to count to make sure I have 6. I do, so now I can tighten up my ring. I'm going to pull this little tail. Whoop. Alright, so now we're going to do round 2. We're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and we are going to do this for a total of 12 rounds. So this is going to be rounds 2 through 12. We are doing the exact same thing, putting 1 single crochet into every stitch around. Alright, my last one, and then once I finish this last single crochet, I'm going to flip my arm so that the inside is facing out, because right now the outside is facing out and I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to make sure that throughout my entire project my right side is facing out, just to make sure that it all matches. So now my tail is on the inside, so it's going to cover itself up naturally. So keep going until you reach row 12. Alright, I just finished row 12. This is what your arm should look like when you're done. If you're lucky, you have a longer tail. I always play yarn chicken, so I don't. So now you can make the other one and then move on to making the tail. Alright, so grab your tail color, and we're going to make another magic circle to begin Sabrine's tail. I'm wondering if there's an easier way to do this, because this is something that I always struggle with. I mean, I feel like I've gotten used to it, and at the same time, it's like either I get it or I don't. Is anybody else the same way with the magic circle? Let me know. Alright, so once we have our magic circle, we're going to put 6 single crochet into it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now make sure you have 6 single crochet and then pull your tail tight. And if you think about it, we just pulled the tail of our tail. Huh? Funny? Not funny? Alright, so I'm going to make sure that my right side is facing out, and then I'm going to grab my trusty scrap of yarn to use as a stitch marker. And then I'm going to move on to round 2 of the tail. I'm going to insert my hook into the very first stitch and make a single crochet. And then I'm going to make a single crochet into the next stitch. And then in that same stitch, I'm going to put another single crochet, so that's an increase. Now I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch just one time. And into the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochet, so another increase. I'm going to do it again, so the next stitch will get 1 single crochet. And our last stitch of this round will get 2 single crochet. Alright, so once I finally get this piece of yarn through here, we can move on to round 3. So move your stitch marker, okay, so now we are going to single crochet into the very first stitch, into the next stitch we'll put 1 single crochet, and then into every other stitch in this round we will put 1 single crochet. Alright, my last stitch for this round. And now we're ready to move on to round 4. Move your stitch marker, whatever it may be. This piece of yarn is actually too short, so I'm going to have to grab a different piece of yarn soon because it's going to drive me insane. Alright, so for round 4, we are going to put 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, so first one and second one. Sorry about the camera. And then into the third stitch we're going to put 2 single crochet, so we're going to make an increase into the third stitch. So 1 and 2. Alright, and now we're going to keep doing that. So 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochet into the third stitch. Alright, 1 and 2, and then in the last stitch we're going to increase. Alright, moving my stitch marker so we can move on to round 5, which is also going to be the same as round 6. So rounds 5 and 6 are the same. Alright, for rounds 5 and 6, we're going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around. My yarn's getting in the way here. I'm trying to push it out of the way. Alright. Just gonna keep working my way around. Clearly I'm moving pretty slowly. I'm not exactly sure why. Alright, so go ahead and finish up rounds 5 and 6, and then I will meet you back here to move on to round 7. Round 7 starts now. So we are going to put 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And then in the 4th stitch, we're going to increase. So 1 and 2. We're going to do that again. 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 2 and 3, and then increase into the 4th stitch. And you're just going to keep doing that around until you reach your last stitch, which should also be an increase stitch. So I'll meet you back here whenever you finish that. Alright, moving on to round 8, we are going to just put 1 single crochet into every single stitch around. So a pretty easy round, nothing to remember, no counting. These are my favorite kind of rounds. And I will meet you back here whenever you finish round 8. Round 9, we are going to put 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the 5th stitch we're going to increase. And you guessed it, that's going to be what we repeat for the rest of this round, which is round 9. So 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. And then increase. So go ahead and do that all the way around, and then as soon as you finish that, I will meet you back here to move on to rounds 10 and 11. Round 10 and 11 are the same. We're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So 2 easy rounds here. Not a lot to remember. So I guess I will let you finish up rounds 10 and 11, and I will meet you back here. All right, round 12. We're getting close. For round 12, we're going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. As you can see, I have finally switched out my stitch marker for a longer piece of yarn. So that was 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now into the 6th stitch, we are going to increase. So put 2 stitches into that one. And then we are going to go around doing that same thing. Putting 5 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Finally 5, yep, there we go. And then an increase. So 1 and 2. And just follow that all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Round 13 through 15 are the same. So these are 3 rounds we're going to do. We are just going to put a single crochet into every stitch around for the next 3 rounds. So rounds 13 through 15. And I will meet you back here whenever you're finished with those rounds. Alright, so we're going to start with our body color now. So don't finish your last single crochet from round 15 with green yarn. Instead, you're going to yarn over with your new color. And I just tied a knot, but I didn't want to put that on screen because that makes some people feel some type of way. So I'm going to get a legit stitch marker this time, for just only the reason that it was the easiest thing I could find that wasn't the same color as my working yarn. I'm not actually going to use it this round because my color change makes it pretty obvious where this round starts. So for round 16 through 20, we are just going to put one single crochet in every stitch around. And I'm going to work over my tails for the first few stitches just to make sure they're good and secure. And now I'm just going to keep working my single crochet into every stitch around for round 16 through 20. I guess I did end up using my stitch marker. It's a good habit. Alright, so for round 21, we're going to start our decrease rounds. So we're going to put a single crochet into the next 5 stitches. I'm going to put my stitch marker back. So that was 1 stitch. Now 2, 3, 4, and I've got to count because I lost track in real life, because whenever I record these it's very loud in my house. And then here's our 5. Now we're going to invisible decrease. So to do that, we just insert our hook into the front loop of the first stitch and then directly into the front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, pull through both of those loops, and then complete your single crochet. So we're going to repeat that around, put 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then we will increase. We will invisible decrease. So front of the first stitch, front of the second stitch, and pull through and complete your single crochet. So I'm going to do this all the way around just so you can see how to do the the invisible decrease plenty of times before we move on and I just speed right through it. So work your 5 single crochet, and then these last 2 stitches will be our decrease. So front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the second stitch, then yarn over, pull through, and then complete your single crochet. And now you are ready to move on to round 22. So remove your stitch marker, and in the first stitch you can put a single crochet, and then put your stitch marker back. And then in this next stitch we'll put 1 single crochet, and these next 2 stitches are going to be a decrease stitch. So the 2 are becoming 1, and now we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll do a decrease, and that's going to be what we repeat around for the rest of round 22. Okay, so for round 23, we are going to attach the arms in this round. So we'll put our first single crochet into the first stitch and put our stitch marker back. And then in the next 2 stitches, we're going to put 1 single crochet each. So 1, 2. Oh, I have a little fluff here, and I was going to try and pull it off, and then I noticed that it would just tear up my yarn completely, so I'm dealing with it, and I'm just going to work it into my yarn, to my work. Alright, So now we need to do an invisible decrease. So insert the front loop of the first stitch and the front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, and complete your single crochet. Now you need to grab your first arm, and we are going to single crochet through both rows of this arm, so both of the top rows. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second as soon as I get my life together to show you. Okay, so you're going to grab your arm, put it whichever way is most comfortable to you. And this is a new experience for me as well. I've never done it this way before, but it's much easier and I feel way more sturdy than actually sewing it on. So I'm just showing you that you're going to work into this front row and into the back row. So what I'm going to do is insert my hook into the first stitch on one side, and then the side that is parallel, the stitch that is parallel with that. So I'm just going to go in one side of the arm and out the other as soon as my camera focuses. Why am I I'm so sorry, I'm on a struggle bus. Okay, so we're going to put it in the stitch that's right behind it, and then I'm going to just kind of shish kebab this arm onto my hook and find the next stitch on my mermaid's body. So I can see the decrease stitch I just did, so I'm going to work into the very next one, and then I'm just going to put a single crochet in it. I'm going to pull through all three of those layers and complete my single crochet. And I'm going to do it again in the second stitch, and the one that lines directly up with that stitch also. And then I'm going to find the coordinated body stitch and put a single crochet there as well. I feel like I'm over explaining it, and I'm really sorry. It's easier if you just watch me do it. It's pretty clear to see what I'm doing. So we're putting our third single crochet into this arm and the body, and then once we do that, we have our first little arm on. You can then put a invisible decrease into the next two stitches. So we're going to make two stitches turn into one stitch. So front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the second stitch, yarn over and pull through those loops, and then complete your single crochet. Alright, so we're going to put one single crochet into the next two stitches. So 1 and 2. And then now I'm going to grab the other arm, line it up, and shish kebab it, just like we did with the last one. So in the front, out the back, and then into one of the body stitches. And then make a single crochet, pull through all three of those layers, and finish it up. Then we're going to do it again in the front, out the back, and attach to the body. And we'll do it one more time. And once we finish this single crochet, the third single crochet into the arm, we can wave our mermaid's hands in the air like they just don't care. And then we're ready to move on to the neck and head. Woohoo! Alright, so I've stuffed my mermaid a little bit more at this point, and we're going to start round 24 with a single crochet in the first stitch, and then I'm going to put my stitch marker back. And then we are going to invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. So we're making 2 stitches into 1. And now we're going to single crochet 1 time into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to decrease. And that is going to be what we repeat around, is our 2 single crochet and then a decrease. Alright, now we're moving on to round 25, and we're just going to single crochet into this first stitch and put our stitch marker back. And then we're going to invisible decrease in the next. So front loop of the first, front loop of the second, and then yarn over and finish our single crochet. And that is going to be what we repeat around for round 25. Round 26, we are going to put a single crochet into this very first stitch, and then we'll put our stitch marker back. And I lost my loop. It fell off my hook. Alright, so now we're just going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch around for round 26. There's no increases or decrease in round 26. So just single crochet around. Alright, now we can move on to round 27 finally. Alright, in round 27, we are going to put 2 single crochet into the very first stitch. And then into every stitch in round 27, we are going to put an increase. So every single stitch will get 2 single crochets in it. So an increase in this stitch, an increase in the next stitch, and into every other stitch around. And I will meet you back here whenever you finish. Alright, round 28. We are going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then put our stitch marker back, and now into the second stitch we are going to put an increase. So 2 single crochet into the next stitch, and then the next stitch will get 1 single crochet, and the next will be an increase. And that is going to be what we follow all the way around for round 28, is our increase and then 1 single crochet. And I'll meet you back here whenever you finish round 28. Round 29 is going to start with 2 single crochet. So we're going to put 1 single crochet into the first stitch. My yarn got messed up, so 1 single crochet. Alright, 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then an increase into the third stitch. Her head's gonna look like a dinner plate by the end of round 29. It's pretty funny. So we're just gonna repeat putting 1 single crochet into 2 stitches and then an increase in the next. So 2 single crochet, and then increase, and do that all the way around for round 29, and I will see you when you're done. So round 30 is going to start with a single crochet in the first 3 stitches. First we've got to do our first one and then put our stitch marker back. Whenever I forget to put my stitch marker back, I always am like, oh no, now I have to figure out where it was. So here's my second single crochet, and then my third. And then in the 4th stitch, we are going to put an increase. So 1 and 2. And then we are going to repeat 3 single crochet and then increase. So 1, 2, 3, increase. And then I will meet you back here once you finish that. Round 31. So we are going to start with 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Doesn't her head look like a dinner plate? Or is it just me? So I'm going to put my stitch marker back now that I've finished the first single crochet. Okay, and now I'm going to put a single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then an increase into the next. In this round, we are going to repeat 4 single crochet and then an increase. So here's my increase, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Round 32 is going to start with a single crochet into the first stitch, and then into the next 4 stitches we'll put a single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the next stitch, we are going to put an increase. So increase, and then we will single crochet into the next 5 stitches. And then increase. And that is going to be our repeat for round 32. So you can go ahead and do that all the way around, and I will meet you back here whenever you finish round 32. Alright, rounds 33 through 38, we are going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around. So for the next few rows, we will not increase or decrease. We're just going to single crochet all the way around. And again, that's for rounds 33 through 38. So just 1 single crochet into every stitch around. Once you get to round 38 and you've finished round 38, I will meet you back here. Alright, we've finished round 38, and now we have a bucket head. She's looking like baby Groot. And we are going to start round 39. So we are going to put 1 single crochet in the first stitch and put our trusty stitch marker back. And then we are going to put a single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And then In the next stitch, we are going to put an invisible decrease. And our pattern repeat for this round will be 5 single crochet and then decrease. So do that around until you get to the end of round 39. All right, round 40. We're going to put a single crochet into the first stitch and into the second stitch. And I'm going to make sure I put my stitch marker back 2 stitches away from my hook this time because I forgot. And now I'm going to put an invisible decrease into the next stitch. So front loop of the first, front loop of the second, yarn over and pull through, and then finish my single crochet. Now I'm going to put a single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to do another decrease. And that is going to be what I repeat for round 40. You're going to do that until you have 2 stitches left, and then you will just single crochet into those one time. But I will probably show you what to do at the end of round 40, just so that we are clear that you just put 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So we're at the end of round 40, we have 2 stitches left, and we're just going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch. So 1 and 2, and that concludes round 40. So now we're going to put the eyes onto our mermaid. I don't have embroidery thread that's black, so I'm going to take a piece of black yarn and pull one of the strands out of it. I'm just pulling it apart. All right, I've got my 1 strand, and now I'm going to thread my needle with it. It's crinkly, but it's not going to matter. So put it on the needle, and I guess you can choose to put eyelashes on it or not. It's up to you. All right, so I've placed my safety eyes where I thought that they looked pretty okay. And so now I am going to put my needle into the same stitch as my safety eye. So I missed that time. Let me try again. So the same spot as my safety eye. I'm going to push my needle through and then pull it out. Pull my yarn almost all the way through. And then I am going to insert my needle about 1 stitch over and 1 stitch up from the eye. So 1 over, 1 up, and pull my yarn all the way through. Now I'm going to stick my needle back into the same spot as the safety eye again, trying to get it underneath the black strand of yarn. Okay, and now I'm going to pull it all the way through. And then I'm going to go 1 stitch down from where I put my needle last time. And then pull all the way through. And then you're ready to move on to the next eye. So we're going to do the same thing as we did in the last one. We're going to insert our needle where the safety eye is coming out of. Pull it all the way through. And then I'm going to go 1 stitch over and 1 stitch. Uh-oh, my eye fell out. Looked pretty creepy. and push it back in there. So 1 stitch over and 1 stitch up, and insert my needle and pull it through, and then do it again. And there you go. I'm gonna go 1 stitch down from where I put my needle last time. Boop. Alright, push it through there and pull my yarn all the way through, and then you finish your eyelashes. If you need to, you can adjust them. I'm gonna have to adjust that one. Okay, so I fixed my eyelashes, and now I'm going to embroider the nose onto Sabrine here. Okay, so I'm just going to put the nose wherever I feel like it looks good. That's what you can do too. And out one side and the other. And I'm just going to lace it through there a few times until I think it looks all right. Do it as many times as you want. Mine is starting to look like a little chicken. Yep. Yep, she just looks like a little baby chick. Alright. Well, hopefully yours doesn't look like a chicken when you're done. I'm okay with it. She's still cute. If anything, I've learned how to make a chicken mermaid, which I don't think anyone else has done before. So, I am original. Okay? Alright, I'm done with her nose. Let's move on. Okay, so now we are going to start round 41 with 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. And then we're going to put an invisible decrease. And then we are going to repeat that. 3 single crochet. And then decrease. And that is going to be what we repeat all the way around. And when you finish this round, you need to start stuffing your mermaid's head. All right, so she's been stuffed, my little chicken mermaid. And now we are, oh, and I need to tell you to make sure you stuff her neck pretty well, or she's going to be floppy. So, moving on to round 42, we are going to single crochet in the first stitch. And then put my stitch marker back into place. And then we're gonna decrease into the next stitch. Okay, now we are going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches and then invisible decrease into the next. And that is going to be what we repeat all the way around for round 42. Alright, starting round 43, we're just going to single crochet into the first stitch and put our stitch marker back. And then we are going to decrease into the next. And then for this round, we're just going to alternate that all the way around. We are going to make one single crochet and then a decrease. So one, and then decrease into the next. And then just repeat that all the way around. For round 44, we're going to decrease into every stitch. So by the time we finish decreasing into every stitch, we should have 8 stitches left, and we're just going to leave them there. So go ahead and finish decreasing for round 44, and I will meet you right back here to show you how to sew her head shut. Alright, so I've finished my decreases, so I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and fasten off. Cut my yarn, and then I'm going to put this tail onto my needle, and then I'm going to show you how to cinch the head shut. So we're just going to go in the first stitch and then out the next. So in one, out one, and then you're going to pull it through. Then we're going to do it again, in one, out one, pull it through, you could do more than one at a time if you want. It doesn't really matter. So you're just going to do that all the way around until you've worked all of these top stitches. Alright, pull it through, and then my last one. Okay, so now I'm going to insert my needle into this stitch and push it out of a stitch that's directly lined up with it. And before I pull my yarn all the way through, I'm going to send my needle back through the loop there and then pull it tight. Alright, and now I'm just going to put my needle back into the center and then push it out the side somewhere. Alright, squish it around, make it look the way you want. And there you go. And now we are ready to make her a little bikini top and put on her hair. I'd say my little chicken mermaid is pretty cute. Her poor mouth, or her poor nose, looks like a little chicken mouth. It's okay. Now we're going to make the tail fins. Tail fins! Alright, so tail fins will start with a magic circle, just like every other part of this mermaid has. I should be a pro at a magic circle by now, and I guess I'm just not. I'm just not. It takes me at least 3 or 4 times to get this shot just right, just so you know. Alright, so into this magic circle, we are going to make 6 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you made sure you have your 6 single crochet, you can pull the tail tight. And then we are going to start round 2, where we will just put 1 single crochet into every stitch. So this first stitch will get 1, and clearly I'm gonna struggle to put my hook in there because doing the magic circle stresses me out. All right, so insert, make a single crochet. I know I can do it. I'm just being so slow right now. Okay, so make a single crochet in the first, and then into each stitch around you will also put a single crochet. Alright, so I'm gonna make sure that my tail fin is gonna be flipped the right way. And into this first stitch for round 3, I am going to put 2 single crochet. So 1 and 2. And then put my stitch marker in the first stitch that I made there. And then into every stitch around, we are going to put an increase. So 2 stitches or 2 single crochet into each stitch. At the end of round 3, you should have 12 single crochet. For rounds 4 and 5, we're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch. So there's no increases or decreases in rounds 4 and 5. Once you finish rounds 4 and 5, you can come back here and I'll tell you what to do for round 6. Alright, this clip on the screen is only going to be up for about 20 seconds, and it's going to tell you that for round 6 you need a single crochet and then increase all the way around, so you're going to repeat that all the way around. Round 7 through 9, you're just going to single crochet in every stitch. If you need to, go ahead and pause, and then you can come back whenever you're done. So sorry. Alright, for round 10 of the tail fin, you are going to single crochet into the first stitch, so go ahead and single crochet into the first stitch, 1, put your stitch marker back, and then we are going to invisible decrease into the next 2 stitches. So you're going to make 2 stitches into 1, and then that's going to be what we repeat all the way around. So 1 single crochet, then decrease, 1 single crochet, and then decrease. And then I'll meet you back here whenever you finish round 10. Alright, we're on to round 11, and this is an easy round. We're just going to single crochet into every stitch around. So by the time we reach the end of round 11, you'll have 12 stitches. Alright, I'll meet you at the end of round 11 or at the beginning of round 12, whichever way you want to look at it. All right, for round 12, we're going to decrease into every stitch around. So we're going to go from 12 single crochet to having only 6. So just go ahead and invisible decrease into every stitch around. Just remember the front loop of the first, the front loop of the second, yarn over, and complete your single crochet. Moving on to round 13, it's an easy round. We're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch. Once you finish round 13, you can fasten off and then make your second tail fin. Alright, so I've finished both of my tail fins, so I'm going to put them right next to each other, and then I'm just going to single crochet them together. So we're going to go through 4 layers of yarn here. So 1, 2 from the first one, and then 1, 2 from the second one. Yarn over, pull all the way through those layers, and then complete a single crochet. And then I'm going to do that again. Alright, so I've single crocheted them together. Now I'm going to fasten off and leave a really long tail for sewing. Let's move on to making her top. Start with a slip knot. And then now we are going to chain 7. Alright, once you chain 7, you're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So not this one, we're going to go into this next one right here. And I'm going to work into the back bump just because of my personal preference. So put a single crochet into the second chain, and then into the next 5 stitches you're going to put a single crochet. So chain 1 and turn, and then I'm just going to put a single crochet into the next 6 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to put a single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So into this first stitch you're going to put 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Now we're going to work around, so we're going to work around this little edge here. So in this last stitch we are going to put 3 single crochet, so that's going to be our corner. 1, 2, 3, into this next little stitch area, we're going to put 1 single crochet. So just put it wherever you want. It's really not going to matter. Just put it wherever. So 1. And then now we're going to make our next corner, which will have 3 single crochet. So at this point, we're working into our chains again. So 1, 2, and then 3. All into the same stitch. And now we're going to work across the bottom into our chains again. We're going to put 4 single crochet across the bottom. So 1, and I'm going to work over this tail just so I don't have to sew it on later. Laziness, right? All right, we're going to put 3 single crochet into this corner here. So just put 1 single crochet here on the side, just like we did on the other side. And then into this next stitch, we're going to put 3 single crochet to make our next corner. Now we're going to single crochet into every stitch across the top, so the next 4 stitches we'll put a single crochet. I had to make sure I was going to put my first single crochet in the right spot. So the next 4 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And now you can slip stitch to the next stitch and then fasten off, and you are ready to move on to cinching your bow up. You're going to want to leave a really long tail because you have a lot of work to do with it. Alright, so we have our tiny bikini rectangle, and now we're going to make it into an adorable little bow. So we're going to put our tail right here onto our needle. And I'm going to send my yarn from the side here to the center, just so I can use it up. Alright. So now, since we have our little rectangle, we're going to make this into a bow. And I'm going to pinch the top down to the bottom and kind of make it fold a little bit, you know, form a little bow tie. I'm going to send my needle in through the top, snag a little piece of yarn in the middle, and then send it through the bottom. You're going to want to be tight with this because I didn't go tight enough, and it's going to really make a difference with your end product, so keep it tight. Alright, you can just do that as many times as you want. I'm going to send my yarn around the back, and then I'm going to do it again just to make sure it's really secure. Alright, so we've cinched up our bow, and now we are going to lace up the other piece of yarn that was sticking out of our bow. So put it on your needle, and then you're going to just wrap it around your bow a ton of times. I'm just going to send it from the side to the center so it doesn't look weird. All right, now you're going to wrap your yarn around the center of your bow just as many times as you want, as many times as you think it's going to take to look good. Be tight about it. Don't be afraid to be tight about it. I didn't go tight enough, as I said before, so it looks kind of funny at the end, but you know, nobody's perfect. Not even Little Miss Sabrine's bikini top. Alright, so now I'm just going to tie a knot in the back as soon as I feel like I've got enough strands wrapped around, just to keep it from falling apart. And there you go. There's your bow tie. Now you can just sew it on. Alright, so we have made the body, the arms, the head, sewn her face on, made her bow tie, bikini, and her tail fins, and now we're ready to make her hair. So grab a book or some cardboard and your hair colored yarn, and let's get started. Alright, so to make the hair, we're going to need a book. There's some specific instructions on the blog that's linked in the description box and in the comment section down below, but just to be pretty basic here, I'm going to wrap the yarn around this book between 50 and 100 times. I think I did it 50 times and then I had to re-wrap about 20 more times to get enough hair, but it all depends on how much hair you want to put on your mermaid, and so you just decide. Wrap it as many times as you want. It's up to you. Alright, once you've finished wrapping your hair around the book, I'll show you what to do next. So I'll see you back here whenever you're done. Alright, so I've wrapped it about 50 times. And now I'm going to grab some scissors and I'm going to cut this one end here. It's going to go flying, so I'm going to put my hand down. And then we're going to pick one side. I'm going to pick this bottom side here and I'm going to cut it. And clearly these tiny scissors are not going to do the job, so I'm going to grab my big scissors in just a second. So watch me struggle here. Nope. Wait a sec. Alright, got my big trusty scissors and I'm going to cut across this bottom edge. Alright, so I've finished cutting my strands across the bottom. And here they are, all laid out. Now I'm going to grab Sabrine, and I'm going to start by working her part. So you can put the part wherever you want, the center, the left, or the right. It's up to you. And I am going to do this side right here. So I'm going to insert my hook here in this random stitch. Sorry, I don't have an exact placement. And I'm going to grab 2 strands of yarn and place them on my hook and hold them and pull my hook through to form a loop here. I'm going to take my hook out and insert my pointer finger and my thumb and grab the other pieces of yarn that are dangling there. And I'm going to pull them through the loop and tighten them up. And that is as easy as it is to make hair. So I'm going to move to the next spot back and insert my hook. I'm going to put 2 strands of yarn onto my hook, pull them through, take my hook out, insert my thumb and my pointer finger, grab the dangling yarn and pull it through tight. And we're just going to repeat that. Go back the next stitch and insert my hook grab 2 pieces of yarn. It's going to be easier if I straighten it out. Put these 2 strands onto my hook, pull them through to form a loop, insert my thumb and pointer, and pull the remainder of the yarn through tight. You're just going to do that until you feel like your part is going back far enough. I'll show you one more time. Insert, grab 2 strands of yarn, place them on the hook, pull through, and then finish it off. So insert your thumb and your pointer finger, grab the remaining yarn, and pull it through tight. You finish that up and I'll meet you back here. So I have done, I think, 1 more strand of hair on her part, and I feel like her part isn't going down far enough. She's got kind of like a 5 head. So I'm just going to kind of swoop the rest of her part around to the side just to make it look like a normal size forehead, because this poor girl already looks like a chicken, so we got to help her out a little bit. So I'm just going to speed up the process here so you can see that I'm finishing it up. Alright, I've worked down and across 3 more stitches, or 3 more times, whatever you want to consider that. Now we're going to move around the side and the back of her head to fill in the bald spots. We're going to work from the bottom to the top. Alright, so I'm going to find a random stitch that's on the side / back of her head. I'm going to insert my hook. Grab 2 strands of yarn, place them on the hook, and pull them through. Insert my thumb and my pointer finger and grab the remaining yarn and pull it tight. And then now I'm going to skip a stitch and work into the next stitch. So every other stitch I will put a strand of hair. We're just going to work like this all the way around until we reach the front of the mermaid's head. So just make sure that you skip a stitch between each piece of hair, or if you want, you can just go rogue and put as much hair as you want. Alright, so just continue all the way around this row, and I will meet you back here whenever you're done. So I finished this row of hair, and she's looking a little crazy, like she's got a few kids maybe, and she's losing all of her hair. So we are going to fill it in and make sure she doesn't have any bald spots so that she can really be lovely. So we're going to work up the next row. I'll show you right here really fast what I mean. Alright, so I'm just going to skip this spot right here, and I'm going to work up into this stitch. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my 2 strands of yarn and continue the same process all the way around for this second round of hair. And yep. Alright, so we're just going to continue this process all the way across here for the rest of this row or round. And then we're going to start up, skip the next row, and then work into each of the following rows. Pretty much use your best judgment, make her look the way you want her to. So use, you know, however many strands in however many places. And then you can consider yourself done as soon as you finish that. So look at my lovely mermaid. She looks so great. And if you didn't know this, Holley-Shae has a pattern to a unicorn mermaid that is linked on her blog. And I think it's pretty cute. I think you should go check it out so that you can make it for the unicorn/mermaid lover in your life. And don't forget to tell me down below who in your life loves mermaids. For me, it's my little niece, Lexi Lou. She's got a sea-themed room, so I made this with her in mind. And if you missed my time-lapse of me making her a mermaid a few months ago, you should go check it out by clicking on the video on the right that's about to pop up on the screen. And I will make sure that I leave all of the links down in the description box so that you can check out the written pattern for Sabrine, the My Lovely Mermaid. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.